with raising the prices on new people, it's just a matter of getting my staff comfortable selling it. And I tell them, like, look, here's the prices everywhere else. I think what we do is better than everywhere else. You've got to, just because you might not be able to afford to pay for what we offer doesn't mean it's not worth what we're charging. And you just over and over again, our weekly team meetings just talk about, this is why we raised our prices and this is what we offer that's different from everybody else. And I did do that for a few weeks because they were having a little trouble with the raise in prices. But it's been good to go now.
Okay. No, that's
fantastic. It's always easy to raise it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like you hit on a really important point there. Obviously the mindset and the belief behind it is what really matters. Okay, so I think that's obviously a perfect segue into kind of like the first part we want to dive into here with the sales. 'Cause I know a lot of people are struggling with sales right now and being able to convert people. Most gyms are not really hitting the rate that they were before. So I know that's an area that you have flourished in, especially using like the 5-step sales process. So I want to see if you could obviously talk on that, like a little bit more on how you kind of been mastering that yourself and implementing that into your team.
Yeah. So with the 5-step sales system, I made sure I went through the sales mastery course. I did that quite a long time ago. And then there's that shorter version that FR has with shorter videos. I had my staff all go through that, and I'm in the process of building out, like, me talking through the sales training into our onboarding systems. So once they've been with us for 30 days, they'll have modules they go through and train you will, that'll take them through the sales system. But what we did to train them now primarily is we started scheduling monthly sales meetings that were separate from our weekly team meetings, just to go through the sales training specifically, not just necessarily to go over numbers. And then we started adding sales training to the weekly team meetings instead of having separate sales meetings. So I had all of my staff go through the shorter version of the FR, the 5-step sales process videos that you guys have. And then we added that as a regular ongoing part of our weekly team meeting. And in those weekly team meetings, we'll go through like different situations that we have, and discuss like how we could have made that situation go better if somebody didn't convert. But primarily we role play over Zoom. It's much more comfortable to role play over Zoom with somebody you know than it is to do it face to face. So that's kind of helped a little bit with the role play, because they're still not 100% bought into that, but that's the biggest contributor to any kind of sales training, or helping people get better at sales training outside of just getting reps. The role playing has been pretty huge. So I would say just ongoing, we had them watch the videos, we discussed each aspect of those, and then we have sales training for a 15-minute block of every weekly team meeting, and we don't miss weekly team meetings.
Anybody in your team that you, I guess, like don't necessarily want them to do sales, or like, how do you decide who's going to start doing the sales in your team? Or is it kind of like, okay, like everybody's going to be trained on this?
Yeah. So the goal is, so I have a guy who's getting ready within the next year, especially if we continue to grow like we've started to grow again. I'll be looking into a second location. He should be my general manager, and he will be in charge of sales. He's not like an amazing sales personality, but he is trained and he can do it. He is good in developing relationships. If he's not good at it, when he becomes general manager, that'll be another conversation we'll have to have. But the plan is for him to take over most of the sales. I do the bulk of the sales right now because I have the most availability to meet with people at times of the day. But I wanted to make sure all of my coaches were prepared to take advantage of opportunities. And then the only other way we were able to get everybody involved and keep me from having to come back in the evenings when I didn't want to be there was to just let them know that there's a potential for you to get scheduled for a 30-minute initial coaching session, either before you start coaching or after you're finished coaching. So those are the times that we're going to schedule you out. And then we set it up in Zen Planner, where every time we schedule somebody out for an ICS, they get an automated email 2 or 3 times, leading up to it, to remind them that they have that. So the decision to have everybody do it was really just a convenience thing for me. Like, to be honest, like, I don't want to be there all the time. And so everybody's going to get trained on this, but I definitely do the bulk of it. But in my mind, it makes sense to have people that are developing the daily relationships with these new folks that come in to go ahead and get the opportunity to sell.